Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, Russia is so isolated that its imports or exports to India increased 400%. Well, it seems like there are some countries and important countries that are willing to do business with Russia, and I suspect that they will not use the US dollar, which is going to be a strike too against the good countries by the bad countries. So let's see, what do we have here? We have an article from Russia Today, and it says India's imports from Russia soar 400%. The surge was triggered by increased purchases of discounted crude oil. India's imports, the oil that some countries will not get, was rerouted to India? Yes, because they isolated Russia. Good job. And we pay more. Excellent, excellent. But we help Ukraine. India's imports from sanctions-hit Russia have leaped by 400% so far this fiscal year, the Nikkei Asia news website reported on Friday, citing the latest data from the Indian Commerce Ministry. The growth is attributed to large-scale purchases of discounted crude oil from Russia amid Western sanctions, which recently targeted the country's exports of seaborne oil and petroleum products, including fuel and gasoline. Russia was reportedly ranked India's fourth biggest, and I'm quoting, merchandise import source nation, end quote, in the first 10 months of the current fiscal year through March, after China, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States. The total value of Indian imports from Russia amounted to $37.31 billion. Wow, ooh, that's a big number, up from $7.71 billion in the same period a year ago, marking growth of 384%. Russia accounted for 6.2% of the South Asian country's total imports during the period. India has bought, and I'm quoting, a lot of crude, converted it into refined petroleum products, and sold it, end quote, Commerce Secretary Sunil Bartwal said, as cited by the media outlet. India's exports of petroleum products also saw a significant increase. From April 2022 to January 2023, they amounted to, $78.58 billion in monetary terms, compared to $50.77 billion in the corresponding period of the previous financial year. India, which is the world's third biggest oil consumer, it's okay, Russia will help you, importing more than 80% of its requirements, purchased over 60% of its crude from the Middle Eastern countries. In December, External Affairs Minister Fantastic S. Jaishankar said Indian refineries would go for the best deal wherever they find them. And I'm quoting, I would like to clarify, we do not ask our companies to buy Russian oil, end quote, he said. And I'm quoting again, we ask our companies to buy oil that is the best option that they can get. Now, it depends on what the market throws up. Yeah, but you gotta be a strong country, an independent country, to be able to say such a thing. Because other countries are just following orders, and then they shoot themselves in the foot, and guess what they do next? They say, well, the price for energy skyrocketed, and these weasels, they got the country in that situation in the first place, in a bad situation. They go and they ask for money from the international banking houses. Those guys give them money with big interest, and then the government subsidize the population with the money that they will pay later. So they don't pay right now, the government helps you. No, government is using your money that you're gonna pay for that money later, plus interest. And it's not going to be only you, it's going to be your children and your grandchildren, because Germany, I think, borrowed about $200 billion just for these kind of things, and it lost 4% of its GDP last year. with the war in Iraq. I was about to say, in Jesus Christ, Ukraine. I went in Ukraine, and remember, everything that Germany did it by itself, on its own, but not really. It was the big boss who told them what to do. But that's what happens when I think you are still under occupation, having foreign troops on your territory, and I think also deployed nuclear weapons. I don't think the Americans got their nuclear weapons out of Germany, but hey, who cares? They wrote your constitution anyway. No, they didn't. They just looked over when you when you wrote it. The same with the Japanese. Anyway, but you know what they forgot over there in your constitution? The right to bear arms, to have weapons, to defend yourself from intruders, or if the government gets too tyrannical, you can defend yourself from that one too. And also, they didn't give you over there the free speech, as the First Amendment or something. Somehow they just forgot about it. Why wouldn't they give you that? I wonder. I don't think you still have you have it, do you? If you do, that's great, but I heard you don't. And I know about the guns. Oh my God, you can't have guns. You can't have guns. Anyway, but you're all safe. You're good to go. Yeah, if some thugs enter your house, like 3 of them, you're done. You're toast. Whether they're gonna wield a knife, ooh, here it is. That's banned too. Anyway, let's go back to these guys. This is the stupidity of the calculation of the good countries. The good countries thought that they have everybody else caught by the balls. And when they say, now you guys are going to impose sanctions on the bad guys, and you're going to do it, the guys did like, that's not my balls. What is it? So some of these countries like China, India, Brazil, South Africa, and these are the BRICS countries, said, no, we're not going to do anything about it. And some other countries in South America, other countries in East Asia, they said, no, we need to do business with these guys. And they do. And Russia did not collapse. And the fact that the good guys, kicked Russian banks out of SWIFT, messaging system between or among banks, banking system, didn't fall. You know what they did? The Russians started their own. And now it's about, I don't know how many countries, like 14, it's 14, I just read an article yesterday, I think, 14 countries that already started using their system. So they're going to bypass the SWIFT and they're going to go to the Russian system. And I think China has also a system that's an alternative to SWIFT. Because people look around and say, wait a minute, these guys didn't like the Russians and they kicked them out. They thought they're going to destroy them. The Russians did not fall on their flat, bang on their nose. And what happened? They invented their own. I don't know if these guys are going to kick us out. So let's try these ones instead of those ones. We don't do business with those ones anyway. So it's an alternate club that's forming, it's been forming. And that's what's going to happen. And the big boss, keeps isolating everybody else and staying with his little dingy-lingy states, about 40 or so. And this is their group, and they are isolated the rest, up to 193 countries. So 100 and let's say it's 40 countries. Let's say 150. 153 countries are isolated from the 40 countries. That's the way. That's how logical it is. But hey, I don't think they really care, because they got their little countries that they think they have everything they need. But you know what they lack? Energy. Yes, United States has energy for its own, but not enough energy for everybody else. Remember, Europe doesn't really have energy. So Saudi Arabia, if Saudi Arabia jumps in the other club, which hints to go over there, but Saudi Arabia is not going to jump on that. It probably is going to jump over there for protection, but wants to do business with everybody else. And you'll see. If Russia doesn't disintegrate, which is going to be very dangerous. Why? Because there are going to be some crazies with more crazy than Putin with nuclear weapons. And then you're going to, instead of dealing with one guy, you're going to deal with 5 Imagine you have 5 Kadyrovs with nuclear weapons instead of having Putin. So Putin is bad. Pfft, yeah. So far, Putin did not shoot down Biden's plane. That tells me Biden trusts Putin. So Biden told Putin, "Hey, I'm going to Ukraine." If Putin is that criminal that you portray him to be, criminal and irrational and all that, and he must go and so on, if you tell him, "This is my route, don't shoot," that tells me, how can you trust that guy? What, do you think he's not going to shoot you because he knows better? Like what? Are you going to nuke Russia? I don't think so. What are they going to do? Invade it with conventional weapons? I don't think so. You're going to be talking, going to do this. What else can happen to Russia? Maybe countries that were with Russia say, well, maybe Russia is a rogue state. But other than that, what? Nuclear weapons, they're going to retaliate with nuclear weapons. So what are they going to do? Nothing. You guys here love your life more than those guys love it over there, because these guys have more to lose. Based on that only. That's why, the middle class in any society, middle class is the treacherous class. Is the class, it's the buffer class between these guys that count their money, drink their cigars and their bourbon and count their money. This is the middle class who just jump out from the lower class, or the poor, let's say, jump to the middle class. They're barely making it over there, and they don't want to lose that. And they can lose it just like this. So they will be used by these guys with that threat. You're going to always go down. Not up, down. So they will be the buffer. They will always vote and do what these guys tell them, because they don't want to fall down there. That's all. So they're going to use middle class against these guys. And these guys to threaten their middle class. I mean, just a few paragraphs in a book you need. You don't need to read 3 books to have this, expressed. But hey, the same here. If you have a lot, you have a lot to lose. If you don't have anything, you have nothing to lose. So as a society and value, you lose your life, but then the comfort, the vacations, the television, the beer, the games with the boys and all that, good life. Those guys are struggling. So for them, it's really like, I don't know, what the hell, But these guys, I don't know about the middle class here. So the middle class will not let this happen. And the guys up there, even less willing to risk a confrontation, direct confrontation with Russia, for the same reason. They have the most to lose. Do you think they want to lose it? They are the leaders of a country. They do whatever they want. Why would they get nuked? Who's going to work for them? Are you crazy? Nah. So, Russia is not isolated, and necessity, is more important than, threats and blackmail. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.